Welcome, the anointed ones. In a world that demands your kneeling, standing tall becomes a revolutionary act. Here's a little-known fact. Lions in the wild never bow their heads, not even in the face of death. Why? Because their pride, pun intended, isn't negotiable. Now imagine this. You're not just a lion, but a chosen one in a world ruled by a beast that thrives on fear, submission, and servitude. The beast isn't your everyday villain. It's an all-encompassing force. Society's demands, false idols, corrupt systems, and even your inner doubts, constantly screaming for one thing: kneel or else. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just hate you for refusing. Oh no, it despises the fact that you'd rather die standing than live crawling. And if that makes you chuckle nervously, good, you're starting to get it. The question isn't just, will you resist? It's, do you even realize how much power your refusal wields? Buckle up, because this isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's about a battle for your soul. And spoiler alert, the beast never fights fair. At number 1, the unshakable spirit. The chosen ones possess an unshakable spirit that refuses to be broken, no matter what the beast throws at them. This isn't stubbornness or blind rebellion. It's something far deeper, more primal. It's the essence of what makes them untouchable. It's not that they're fearless. They feel the weight of every threat, every consequence. But their spirit, their very core, simply cannot bend. That's what the beast hates most. This kind of strength doesn't come from brute force or arrogance. It's born from a clarity of purpose, a connection to something greater than themselves. The beast thrives on control, on making people doubt their worth, their choices, their path. But the chosen ones see through the lies. They recognize the beast for what it is. A force that feeds on submission, thriving only when it can manipulate and dominate. The chosen one's refusal to bow isn't just an act of defiance, it's a declaration of independence from the very thing that enslaves others. What's extraordinary is how natural this defiance is to them. They don't have to scream or rage. Their unshakable spirit speaks louder than any words. And this terrifies the beast, because every time the chosen ones stand firm, they expose the beast's greatest weakness. It cannot conquer what it cannot break. The beast lashes out in hatred because it recognizes the truth. The chosen ones don't need the beast. Its threats, its rewards, its promises, they mean nothing. The chosen ones live by a different code, one the beast cannot corrupt or even comprehend. That's why the battle feels so personal, so relentless. It's not about control, it's about obliterating the one thing the beast will never have. A soul that stands unshaken. Number 2, a predator's fear. The beast doesn't hate the chosen ones because they're weak. It hates them because they're a threat. Beneath all its bluster and intimidation, the beast is afraid, and that fear fuels its hatred. The chosen ones represent something the beast cannot control or destroy, a will that defies every law it tries to enforce. They're proof that the beast's power is not absolute, and that terrifies it more than anything. The beast thrives on dominance. It survives by making people believe they have no choice but to submit. It whispers lies, twists truths, and creates the illusion that resistance is futile. Most people fall in line, not because they want to, but because they're afraid of what happens if they don't. But the chosen ones, they refuse to play along. They reject fear as a currency, and in doing so, they expose the beast's weakness. Its power only works when people give it to them. The chosen ones force the beast to confront its limits. No matter how much it roars, threatens, or attacks, it can't break them, and that failure eats away at it. The beast is used to control, to domination, to bending everything and everyone to its will. The chosen ones shatter that illusion. They remind the beast that its power is not innate. It's borrowed from the people who fear it. That's the paradox the beast can't overcome. It appears invincible, yet a handful of individuals can dismantle its entire facade by simply refusing to bow. The chosen ones don't need weapons or armies. Their defiance alone is enough to unmask the beast's deepest insecurity. Without submission, it is nothing, and nothing terrifies the beast more than that. Number 3, defiance as a cosmic signal. When the chosen ones resist, it's more than just an act of defiance in the physical world. It sends ripples through realms we can't see. Their refusal to bow isn't just a stand against oppression or control. It's a signal, a message sent across the unseen planes of existence. The beast knows this, and it's why it reacts with such ferocity. Each act of defiance shakes the foundations of the beast's dominion, not just in this world, but in the unseen places where power truly resides. The chosen ones don't just fight for themselves. Their actions have a weight that transcends their own lives. Every no they speak, every step they refuse to take towards submission, every time they stand firm, it echoes. It gives strength to others who are too scared or too broken to stand on their own. The beast feeds on isolation and silence, on the idea that one person's resistance doesn't matter. But the chosen ones prove that wrong every single time. This is why the beast hates them so much. It can't silence them, and it can't stop the ripple effect they create. It knows that their defiance is contagious, that one act of courage can inspire another and another, until the system it relies on begins to collapse. The chosen ones become living proof that the beast's power is not total. They disrupt its plans not with violence, but with the sheer force of their refusal to submit. In the cosmic order of things, defiance becomes a beacon of hope, a reminder that the beast is not the ultimate authority. The chosen ones might not see the full impact of their actions, but the beast does. And that's why it fights so hard to destroy them. Number 4. An ancient war, not a modern rebellion. This battle isn't just a modern struggle. It's part of an ancient war that has raged since the dawn of humanity. The chosen ones aren't fighting a new enemy. They are the latest in a long line of warriors who have faced the beast in its many forms. Every act of defiance, every refusal to bow, is an echo of those who came before. The beast's methods may change with the times, but its core is the same. It thrives on fear, control, and submission. And just as the beast is timeless, so is the resolve of those who resist it. The tactics of the beast are predictable, almost boring in their repetition. It uses oppression to create obedience, deception to confuse, and temptation to lure people into surrender. It cloaks itself in the symbols of the era, whether it's the empires of old, corrupt institutions, or modern systems of control, but the pattern never changes. It has no creativity, no originality, because its power depends entirely on keeping people trapped in cycles of fear and conformity. But the chosen ones see through the beast's tricks. Their strength lies in the knowledge that this fight is bigger than them, older than them. They're not just individuals. They're part of a legacy, a timeless resistance that stretches back to those who stood against tyrants, false gods, and corrupt powers in every age. This connection to the past is what makes the chosen ones unstoppable. They aren't fighting for temporary victories. They're continuing a battle for truth and freedom that has existed for millennia. The beast's hatred only underscores this reality. It knows it has been defeated before, and it fears that this time will be no different. The chosen ones carry the weight of history, and with it, the unbreakable resolve to see this war through. Number 5. Your existence shatters its illusion. The beast's greatest weapon isn't its strength, it's the illusion of invincibility. It operates like a magician, crafting elaborate deceptions to make itself seem all-powerful, all-knowing, and unstoppable. It doesn't need to be omnipotent as long as people believe it is. That belief is what feeds it, fuels it, and gives it the control it craves. But your existence, the very fact that you refuse to yield, tears through that illusion like a blade. When you stand firm, you reveal the truth the beast fights desperately to hide. Its power is built on fear, not reality. Its threats may be loud, but they're hollow. Its dominance exists only because so many choose to bow. Your defiance is a reminder that its so-called authority is nothing more than smoke and mirrors, a game of psychological manipulation. And the moment you refuse to play, the beast's carefully constructed image begins to crack. This is why your resistance enrages it. You don't just challenge its control, you expose its fragility. The beast thrives on the compliance of the masses, but your refusal sends a clear message. It can be resisted. Others start to see the cracks in the facade, the lie that has kept them in chains. Your defiance isn't just personal, it's contagious. The beast's hatred for you is rooted in fear. It knows that if one person can break free from its grip, others will follow. Your refusal to yield is proof that the beast's power isn't absolute, that its hold is only as strong as the fear it can maintain, and nothing terrifies it more than the idea that its illusion is shattered, leaving it exposed for what it truly is, a powerless tyrant feeding off a lie. Number 6. Rejection of a cheap paradise. The beast promises paradise, but its version comes at a steep cost, your soul. It's not a true utopia, not a world of genuine freedom or fulfillment. It's a carefully crafted illusion designed to seduce you into submission. The offer sounds tempting: comfort, safety, and an escape from struggle. But for the chosen ones, the trade is unacceptable. The beast demands that you surrender who you are, your integrity, and your truth. In return, it offers only a counterfeit peace that chains you to its will. For the chosen ones, this isn't a deal worth considering. What's the point of comfort if it comes at the expense of your authenticity? What good is a life free of struggle if it means living as a shadow of yourself? The beast's paradise is hollow, a shiny facade that conceals emptiness. It lures others in by playing on their fears and desires, offering an easy way out of hardship. But the chosen ones see through the ruse. They know that true peace, true freedom, can never be built on lies or submission. That's why the chosen ones are willing to endure the fire. They'd rather face the trials and hardships of standing firm than accept a life built on the beast's terms. Struggle becomes a badge of honor, proof that they haven't sold out or given in. The beast's paradise might look appealing on the surface, but it's nothing more than a prison disguised as a sanctuary. The chosen ones understand that real fulfillment comes from living authentically, even if it's difficult, even if it hurts. They refuse to trade their essence for the beast's illusion. To them, a hard-won truth is infinitely more valuable than the ease of a comfortable lie. That's what makes them unstoppable. Number 7. You're a living mirror. The chosen ones are more than just individuals standing against the beast. They are living, breathing mirrors reflecting everything the world has tried to forget. Your resistance doesn't just challenge the beast's authority, it exposes a painful truth to everyone who has already bowed. By refusing to yield, you embody the virtues others have abandoned: dignity, integrity, and courage. And that's precisely why the beast and its followers despise you. You hold up a mirror to their moral failures, forcing them to see the cracks in their own reflection. When people give in to the beast, they often justify their choices. It's easier this way. It's just how the world works. What difference can one person make? But your defiance shatters those excuses. You prove that submission isn't inevitable, that there is always a choice, no matter how difficult. And in doing so, you remind them of the price they paid for their so-called peace, their own sense of self. The beast's hatred for you runs deeper than its desire for control. It hates you because you strip away the illusion it has built around itself and its followers. You make them see what they've given up, and worse, you show them that they could have chosen differently. It's not the resistance itself that infuriates them, it's the way it exposes their complicity. To the beast and those who serve it, you are an unrelenting reminder of everything they could have been but chose not to be. Your existence is proof that courage, integrity, and dignity are not relics of the past. They are alive and well in those who refuse to bow, and that truth is unbearable for those who have already surrendered to the lie. Number 8. You hold the line for the weak. The chosen ones don't just fight for themselves, they fight for those who can't. Every act of resistance is more than an individual stand. It's a shield, a line in the sand that protects the weak, the broken, and the fearful. The beast feeds on vulnerability, preying on those who've been worn down by life, those who've lost hope or never had the strength to fight in the first place. Without the chosen ones holding the line, these people would be devoured, consumed by the beast's relentless appetite for control. When you stand firm, you don't just resist for your own sake. You create a space where others can begin to breathe, to gather strength, to see that resistance is possible. Your defiance sends a powerful message. The beast is not invincible and submission is not inevitable. For those watching from the shadows who feel powerless and alone, you are a beacon. You show them that they are not forgotten, that someone is willing to fight for them, even when they can't fight for themselves. This is why the beast hates you so intensely. It wants the weak to stay isolated, convinced that they have no choice but to surrender. Your defiance disrupts that. It gives the forgotten a glimmer of hope, and hope is dangerous to the beast. Hope sparks courage, and courage leads to resistance. By holding the line, you become more than a fighter. You become a protector. You carry the weight of those who can't yet carry themselves, standing firm so that one day they might find the strength to join you. Your resistance isn't just an act of defiance, it's an act of love, a sacrifice for those who need it most. Without you, they'd be lost, but because of you, they have a chance. Number 9. A paradox that confounds. The beast expects submission. It expects rebellion. It understands these two responses, and it thrives on them. Submission gives it control, rebellion gives it chaos. It can work with both. But what the beast can't comprehend, what it cannot counter, is your calm, unyielding refusal. You don't engage with the beast on its terms, fighting it with its own tools of fear, intimidation, or empty promises. Instead, you wield something that it cannot corrupt, your undying will. This is the paradox that confounds the beast. It operates within a binary framework. Either you bow or you fight back violently. But your refusal is different. It's silent yet profound, unshakable yet unprovoked. It doesn't escalate into open war, but neither does it yield. This confuses the beast. It doesn't know how to respond to someone who refuses to play its game, who sees through its tactics without raising a fist or surrendering. Your weapon isn't one of rage or resistance, it's the simple raw power of your will to not give in. This quiet defiance sends a message that the beast can't understand. You don't control me. Where it expects fear or aggression, it gets strength in stillness. Where it expects compliance or chaos, it meets unwavering resolve. The beast's power lies in its ability to manipulate reactions, fear, anger, submission, or rebellion. But you have rendered that power meaningless by not responding to it at all. You don't fight the beast with violence, nor do you bow to its demands. You simply remain untouched by its influence, holding your ground with a will that nothing can bend or break. That is the paradox that strips the beast of its greatest weapon, the ability to make you react. Number 10. Sacrifice as a weapon. For the chosen ones, death is not defeat. It's the ultimate declaration of independence. The beast thrives on fear, especially the fear of death. It uses this threat to manipulate, to break people down, to make them bend and conform. But when the chosen ones embrace death as a weapon rather than a fear, they take away the beast's most powerful tool. The willingness to die rather than bow exposes the beast's impotence. It cannot control you if you are no longer afraid of what it threatens. This is why the beast fears you. It knows that when you no longer fear death, its power evaporates. It holds no sway over someone who has already decided they'd rather die standing than live on their knees. And the thing is, the beast doesn't know how to fight that. All it can offer is the promise of safety, comfort, and survival. But none of that means anything when someone has already chosen something higher. The chosen ones understand that the beast's ultimate weapon is the fear of what might happen if they refuse. It feeds on the idea that people will do anything to avoid death. But by confronting death head-on, they take away its power over them. In that act of sacrifice, they reclaim their sovereignty. The beast can threaten your life, but it can't take your soul. In a world ruled by the fear of death, the chosen ones become untouchable. They are free because they have already crossed the threshold that the beast dreads most, and in that freedom, they are invincible. The beast's threats become meaningless because the chosen ones have already chosen their fate. They would rather die with their dignity intact than live in the beast's hollow peace. Number 11. The beast is desperate, not almighty. The beast's hatred for the chosen ones isn't a sign of its strength, it's a glaring indicator of its desperation. If the chosen ones were truly insignificant, Why would the beast waste so much energy trying to break them? It would ignore them, dismiss them, or simply crush them without a second thought. But the fact that it constantly seeks to destroy them shows just how fragile it really is. The beast knows that the chosen ones are a threat, not because of their numbers, but because of their refusal to be controlled. Every attempt to undermine, intimidate, or destroy them only exposes the beast's weakness. If its power was as absolute as it pretends, it wouldn't need to obsess over a handful of individuals who refuse to bow. But it does. The beast is afraid that if the chosen ones continue to stand firm, they will inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple that could unravel its entire system of control. The more the beast targets the chosen ones, the more it reveals that it's terrified of their resistance. Its actions are not the confident, calculated moves of an almighty ruler. They are the frantic gestures of a creature who knows its hold on power is slipping. If the beast were truly all-powerful, it would simply crush its opposition and move on. But instead, it spends its time trying to break those who will not bend. That's the sign of a system on the verge of collapse. The hatred the beast shows is not the result of its invincibility. It's a reflection of its fear. It cannot stand the idea that someone can refuse to be dominated because that challenges everything it stands for. And in this desperation, the chosen ones have already won. The beast's obsession with them is proof that it is not almighty. It is terrified, fragile, and on the verge of falling. Number 12. The legacy of fire. Even in defeat, the chosen ones leave behind a legacy that cannot be extinguished. Their resistance may not always end in victory, but it sparks something far more powerful, a fire that cannot be contained. The beast doesn't hate you simply because you won't bow to it. It fears the wildfire your defiance will ignite. When you stand firm, others take notice. Your courage becomes a beacon, a spark that lights the way for those who are too afraid to act. The beast knows that every act of resistance, every act of refusal, spreads like a flame, lighting up the hearts of those who thought they were alone in their fear. The beast may silence one voice, break one body, but it cannot kill an idea, nor can it quench the fire of inspiration that the chosen ones leave behind. Your stand, no matter how small it may seem in the moment, plants a seed of rebellion that grows far beyond what the beast can control. It's the quiet act of defiance that eventually builds into a raging storm as others, who were once too afraid, find the strength to rise as well. The beast isn't just worried about the chosen ones, it's terrified of what happens after they fall. It understands that defiance is contagious, that courage is like a spark in a dry forest. It spreads faster than the beast can put out. When the chosen ones fall, their legacy does not die with them. It becomes the fuel for the next generation of rebels, of dreamers, of those who will not accept the beast's tyranny. The beast's real fear is that it cannot control this wildfire. It may extinguish one flame, but it can never stop the fire from spreading. And in that, the chosen ones are immortal. In the end, the chosen ones are more than just individuals who refuse to bow. They are living, breathing forces of resistance that expose the fragility of the beast's reign. The beast may rage, may threaten, and may strike with every weapon it has, but the true power lies in the unwavering will of those who stand firm. Their defiance is not an isolated act, it is a spark, a flame that burns brightly and spreads uncontrollably. The beast's hatred is not the sign of its power, but its desperation. It fears what happens when even one person refuses to bend because it knows that such resistance exposes its greatest weakness, the fact that its power exists only through fear and submission. The chosen ones walk a path of fire, unyielding even in the face of death, because they understand that their struggle is not just for their own freedom, but for the countless others who are too broken, too scared, or too lost to fight for themselves. They are the shield for the weak, the living mirror of dignity and integrity, showing everyone around them what true strength looks like. And in this truth lies the beast's greatest fear, not that it will be overthrown by force, but that it will be unmasked for what it is. A tyrant that can only rule as long as it keeps people in chains of fear and conformity. The legacy of the chosen ones is not written in the victories they achieve, but in the defiance they inspire in others. Their resistance ignites a wildfire that cannot be contained, spreading across the world until the very foundations of the beast's empire are consumed. The chosen ones may fall, but their flame will never be extinguished. In every act of defiance, they light the path for others to follow, proving that the beast's reign is not eternal, and that true power lies not in submission but in the unbreakable will to stand tall and refuse to bow. If you felt the fire of defiance ignite within you, if the truth of the chosen ones has resonated deep in your soul, then this is just the beginning. Don't let this moment pass. Subscribe to the channel and join a community that refuses to bow, that stands firm in the face of everything that tries to hold us down. Together, we'll keep the flame burning bright, we'll keep pushing back against the beast, and we'll continue to inspire others to rise with us. Hit that subscribe button because the battle is far from over, and the legacy of resistance is only just getting started. Stay strong, stay unyielding, and let's keep the fire alive. Stay blessed.